The first time I tried it, it didn't do it. The second time, it did do it. And it was traumatizing. And I didn't want to do it again. Come to find out that I did it with one of the biggest hits uptown. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and tip your favorite narrator via Cash App at $NAROB on YouTube. And if you are not already a part of this book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. I implore you all, please consider becoming a paying member. Those cash apps and those monthly fees motivate me to keep going when I'm barely making a couple of $100 here on the YouTube, okay? I appreciate all the support that you all gave me with the Mary Wilson Supreme Faith, and I would like for you all to give me that same support with thank you for letting me be myself again. Sly Stone. What do you want to be when your grown adults like to ask kids that question? The adult in this case was the pastor of the church. I was a kid. The bishop, I said. That was the top man in the church of God in Christ. The pastor started to smile. The other people in the room laughed. I was serious. It seemed like the highest job for the highest cause. Why would you aim for that? This was my aim at 12 or 13. A year or two after that, I started to feel a pull from another direction. Some people called it R&B. Others said rock and roll. These singers, Little Richard, Clyde McPhatter, came out of the church too, but went elsewhere. Sam Cooke replaced R.H. Harris in the Soul Stirrers, stayed for a few years, then left to make pop records and popped an E on the end of his name to mark the change. These from the church singers were something. They kept what was holy and added in what was earthy, and the combination landed on me hard. I want to sing like them, control the stage like them. Jackie Wilson was especially amazing. Pure electricity up there at the microphone, twirling around. He had an effect on the crowd, and then some. He'd be falling off stage and shiz, knocking the bitches out with his energy. Maybe he knocking the bitches out with that wild musk. I mean, he was sweating like a mother scooter up there. How did y'all find that attractive back in the day? That's not attractive to me to see somebody sweating. But then when I was younger and in the go-go, I always sweated my hairdo out. Why? Why would I go somewhere to sweat? I mean, he did have a heart attack on stage. Y'all, is it true that motherfucker was eating a handful of salt so he could sweat? That is disgusting to me, y'all. I don't want that. That damn sweaty towel could be full of trichomonas. Trichomonas don't come out during your sweat, but it's body fluids, man. It's body fluids. I don't know if I want that. And plus, he got that conch and grease and shit. And it said, no, I'll pay. Ray Charles was one of the biggest names in music at that point, and the baddest. I dug the way he played. When he sat at the piano, he rocked his head from side to side. Stevie Wonder did something like that later, and I know it wasn't because he saw Ray doing it. Stop it. I understood it as more than just a style. It was a way of showing that the spirit had gotten into you and stayed there. Even when I started to move away from the religion I was given, I wasn't exactly God-fearing. Didn't see the point in being afraid of him or anyone else. I believed in the spirit. It worked for Ray. He was so sincere in his songs, no matter what he was singing. So put down below, what is your favorite Ray Charles song? In the midst of old Vallejo stands the school we love. Now it was the late 50s, and I was off to Vallejo High on Nebraska Street. In some ways, it was just more of the same classes I couldn't completely care about. Teachers who told me that I should care. But high school had some new attractions. I ran with a group of guys called the Cherry Busters. I said, what? The Cherry Busters? Man, when I was a teenager, I'm telling you, that's all them boys used to talk about. Hey, Nay, let me bust your cherry. Nay, is your cherry busted yet? And I ain't never. Well, I did, but I mean, they say that it's supposed to be a trickle of blood or something. It's supposed to come out of there. I don't think I ever had that happen to me. I don't think that happened to me. I don't know. I just know that the shit hurt. The first time I tried it, it didn't do it. The second time, it did do it. And it was traumatizing. And I didn't want to do it again. Come to find out that I did it with one of the biggest hits uptown. I ran with a group of guys called the Cherry Busters. People have said it was a gang, but that's not a word that really applies. We had parties, we had jackets. We didn't have a leader, but I might have been followed a little bit because I had a car. A cherry Chevy. Cherry wasn't the color, it was the condition. That's the first car I remember having. It even had a nickname, Booty Green, because it was light green with a green trunk of a darker shade. Booty Green, and I got around town. The car had a passenger seat, of course. And when I was 16 or so, I got a passenger, Marilyn Bethel. My first serious girlfriend. She was a pretty black girl. Good smile, good grades. Marilyn didn't hang with a group. Didn't try out for this crowd or that one. And that was important to me, as was the fact that my parents met her and liked her. I gave her a ride to school and drove her home. Chuck Gebhardt, who was my age, and his younger brother, Vern, lived on the other side of town. Their father was a gym teacher, the same one, in fact, who had made Raymond Stiff put on gloves. The Gebhardts had a friend named Frank Arellano, and the three of them knew two girls, a blonde named Charlene Imhoff and a brunette named Maria Boldway, who went by Rhea. They had a singing group that practiced around school and at people's houses and basements and garages. Another kid had been with them, and then they were without him, and they were looking for a replacement. They were looking at me. What was the difference between a singing group and a group singing? A name. This group had a name, a few in fact, but the name that lasted the longest was the Vcanes, with a V, like Vallejo. History talks about the Vcanes like it was a major achievement in integration, but I didn't see it that way because the group consisted of whites, Japanese, Mexicans, and blacks. History talks about the Vcanes like it was a major achievement in integration, but I didn't see it that way. To me, it was a white group with one black guy, though Frank was Filipino. Rhea and I flirted, and then I saw her one time, sneaked it. Maybe a second time or a third time too. But we kept it quiet. Partly it was because her father didn't like us dating, which was partly because of color. Partly it was because a relationship could shake up a group, and we wanted to make it before anything could shake it. From the start, I took the lead on the music side. I had experience singing and playing, which sharpened my ear for arrangements. The Vcanes practiced until we got good, and then practiced more until we got better. We sang around town, auditoriums, fairgrounds, hotels, military bases. Parents drove us to gigs. Sometimes we stayed overnight. Sometimes we even got paid. At that time, American Bandstand was a national sensation. Every city had its own version. San Francisco's was Dance Party on KPIX, Channel 5. Back home, we had our own Soul Train or dance show. And remember, I'm from Washington, D.C., so it was basically a black dance show. Ours was Dance Connection, hosted by the good old Moon Man Baker. When I seen him as an adult round there to the curry out, I was like, Moon Man Baker, oh my God, I watched you as a little girl. You're amazing. I wanted to dance on your show so bad. He was like, baby, you could dance on my show. I said, wait a minute, nigga. Wait a minute, nigga. I'm just here for some chicken wings and fried rice, motherfucker. What was your local dance show? Ours was Dance Connection, hosted by Moon Man Baycoat, that showed on Channel 32. I think 32 was Howard University television, if I'm incorrect. What was your local dance show, y'all? Dance Party also sponsored talent shows in the area. We won enough in a row that we made it to an on-air showcase, and we did well enough there that we got a record deal. We recorded in San Francisco, a space beneath the Gary Theater, where we cut some songs backed by a local group called Joe Piazza and the Continentals. We were given two, Stop What You Are Doing and I Guess I'll Be. The third song I wrote myself. The Marcel's Blue Moon was a hit at the time. I wrote one of my own, Same Moon, Different Color. I rhymed love with above. What else? Yellow Moon was an early lesson for me in how the music business worked and how it didn't work the same for everyone. We recorded with a producer named George Mottola, who had gotten known for his association with Jesse Belvin, another Texas to California transplant, San Antonio to LA in his case, who had a big hit with Earth Angel, and then died in a car wreck after a concert in Little Rock, Arkansas. It was the first concert down there in front of an integrated crowd, and some people weren't happy about it. Okay. So listen, for those of you who were around for the Ike Turner book, we know what happened with the song Rocket 88, I believe it is. He made the song, him and the Knights of Rhythm, I think they were called. You know if I'm wrong. You Uzzies always like to jump down there in the comments and correct me. But he wasn't credited with the song Rocket 88. It was given to some other group. So that was his first big hit, but he didn't get credit for it. And the same thing happened with Sly Stone. He made the song Yellow Moon, and it was credited to another group. I remember feeling something about it, though not exactly sadness or anger. That's just how it was. I was still young, still learning, and there would be many more chances. Yellow Moon had a B-side, Heavenly Angel, credited to E. Washington/R. Page, and we recorded a third song, a coasters type thing called Uncle Sam Needs You, my friend. But Yellow Moon was the one that rose. We made the charts. number 17 in the San Francisco area. To me, it felt like number 17 in the world. House of Fortune wanted to push me out as a solo artist under the name Danny Stewart. So they flew me down to Los Angeles to work with George and a guy named Vic Lucas, who was set to manage us. That was a dream and then some. They put me up on Hollywood Boulevard in the best apartments in the world, so clean and white that I was afraid to stand close to the wall for fear the dye in my hair would come off on it. In LA, we did some more recording, including a version of Yellow Moon with my voice sped up. That was a common trick back then. It made a singer sound younger, which made it easier to sell records to girls. Baby, you cannot tell me that they did not do that to, Frankie Lyman. My senior year, I left Vallejo for a while. My dad was the reason, though. Maybe I was the reason. He was the reason, because he was showing his ass with his daddy. There were regular whoopings once my dad threw a buffing machine brush at my head. That was too much. I had to get out of Dodge. I went up to Sacramento to stay with my sister Loretta.
No.